Another big piece of news that's kind of a developing story is DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. So the president announced that he was going to kind of sunset that program over 2 years and beginning in 6 months, hoping that Congress, it's turning out that hoping as Congress would step in and create law, because before right now it's just an executive order, it's not actually the law on the books. What was your reaction when you saw that? Because obviously there's a lot of, within the Catholic Church, there's a lot of Hispanics, a lot of immigrants here, and a lot of people kind of left in this weird limbo phase when we heard that news.
It has given me the opportunity even to speak directly to some of our parishioners and those who would be impacted, their families impacted by this issue, to assure them. And I think it's really important for our diocese to hear that the bishops of our country, both directly, up front, and behind the scenes, are continually working with our elected officials to be that moral voice. I always mention that bishops are not legislators. We elect people to do that. They're the experts on how you get legislative action completed. So bishops speak to the truth of the gospel. And in this particular case, certainly calling on compassion. Obviously, bishops, support our leaders, our elected officials in one of their grave responsibilities, keep it secure our homeland, absolutely. But at the same time, we're a nation of compassion. And as you look at the issue of the hundreds of thousands who could be impacted, who came here as children, it's the only land they know. Compassion, respect for the dignity of the person, certainly will emphasize that we need to find a way within that legislative process, which fortunately there's going to be time to accomplish, to do what is right. And we assure all of our immigrants that we are working on their behalf as bishops of the country, and that all of us are praying for the enlightenment that our officials need at this time.
And I think it's interesting to discuss this topic for a number of reasons. One is, who are we talking about? We hear numbers of 600 to 800,000.
Right.
The estimates vary on who it is, but one that the real people. I remember you telling a story about seminarians who are basically qualified under DACA, but to begin seminary studies, they actually have to go back to Mexico in the case that you were referring to, and to begin their seminary studies there before they go through the immigration process and
Right.
study in America. And the greatest challenge they had was their Spanish class.
Well, exactly.
They didn't even speak Spanish, many of them, or didn't speak it well enough.
Right.
That's a challenge. That kind of demonstrated for me who we're talking about.
Right. So yeah, in this particular case, came here as 2-year-old children, went through all of our schools. One, in fact, was valedictorian of his class. But in order to fulfill the necessary immigration requirements, had to leave all that was familiar for a period of time, so to re-enter. And it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And it does seem that we are bright enough to find a comprehensive, compassionate way to address this issue.
And I think that's the point most people are looking for, at least the folks that I've talked to, is something that's just and balanced.
Right.
There's a middle ground here. We don't have to take one extreme or the other. There's got to be a reasonable standard in the middle that does uphold a standard of justice and law and order, which is reasonable, and security, obviously, which is needed now more than ever, but also of compassion, that we can't do that without it.
And as we speak today, I think there's some positive signs going forward here. So there is some hope.
Yeah. Hopefully this will be done within that.
Yeah, today there were some good signs.
Within that window.